All right, so welcome everyone to the Squirrel Systems webinar today. Hope this finds everyone well. Today we're going to talk about the digital guest experience. So obviously the last 6 or 7 months have been kind of unprecedented for our industry. And what we're going to be looking at today is how to develop capabilities to support off-premise dining and contactless capabilities and an integrated digital experience that we think are going to be critical throughout this winter and continuing into 2021. A couple housekeeping items. We absolutely welcome any questions in your GoToWebinar interface. You'll see a chat and questions panel. Please feel free to put anything in there at any time. We will be addressing those at the end, and if we run out of time or we don't have a chance to address your question, we'll try to follow up via email after the fact. Hopefully we will be able to stay within a reasonable amount of time, 45 minutes or so. But if you do have to drop off, we are recording. So if you miss anything or you want to share this with colleagues, please feel free to visit squirrelsystems.com. This will be posted to our blog tomorrow and will be available via social media as well. So I'd like to introduce the panelists today. Doing the bulk of the presentation is going to be a gentleman named Patrick Paris. He's a sales and systems engineer here at Squirrel Systems, very experienced in the implementation of the solutions we're going to be talking about. Also joining us today is Damien Graham, director of our customer success team. Damien is going to be primarily assisting us with any of the questions that come in. He's got a lot of experience across a broad range of hospitality solutions and customers, so his insight would be very useful. And I'm Penn Clark. I work with the marketing and product team here at Squirrel Systems. And first, a little bit of an introduction in terms of the what, why, and how that we're going to be talking about. When we talk about the digital guest experience, what we're really trying to convey is that the combination of new service models, online ordering, mobile self-serve, curbside and takeout, really need to be integrated so that the guest experience when they're engaging with your establishment offsite is as good as the one we know that you have in your dining room. At Squirrel, we're really committed to helping develop those capabilities by building on the core Squirrel 11 POS, its modules, and also working within our partner ecosystem. So many of these solutions are delivered via our Squirrel 11 solution, but also working with partners. And you can see these logos at the bottom. That's not a comprehensive list, and those are some partners that we've delivered these solutions with. But if you have a preferred vendor and you don't see their logo there, don't worry. If you reach out to us, we're absolutely able to assist and look at what kind of capabilities we might have there. So to start, one of the things we wanted to do was just look at some metrics and some data. So there's a company called Data Central. If you're not familiar with them, their domain is datacentral.com. They do quarterly surveys and monthly surveys in the hospitality industry specifically, also in the general public, gauging things like nervousness around COVID, nervousness around the current environment. So this was from October, and as you can see here, of the people surveyed, 40% roughly, are still avoiding eating out. For the further 34% will eat out, but they're nervous about it. They have some concerns, and around 30%, 27% don't have any concerns whatsoever. So, these are down from when we first saw the health crisis emerge, but are still relatively concerning metrics, I think, for the restaurant and hospitality industry overall. And really drive the need to talk and engage in some of the capabilities we're looking at today. Part of that survey was asking what would be required for guests to feel comfortable coming back to dining rooms, particularly, as some regions are much more open than others. Other regions have limited capacity. What do guests require? And I'm not going to go through all of these, obviously, and you're able to grab this afterwards in the recording. But one of the ones that really sticks out for us is contactless payment. Almost 50% of guests surveyed require contactless payment to come back into the dining rooms, and overall 87% of the guest surveys said that they'd really prefer it. A few other things to note here are things like disposable or disinfected menus, and that continuation around social distancing. So 6 or more feet between tables, 6 or more feet held as a standard in common areas. So while we've been under this for quite a while now, these are still things that guests are concerned about. And comfort levels are slowly increasing, which is good news. But you can see from these figures that guests are still much more comfortable engaging with restaurants and food and beverage off premise than they are on premise. So we've got about 50% of people that are totally comfortable sitting, say, outside on a patio. But those patio solutions, obviously, particularly in the northern part of North America, are kind of coming to a close as we move into winter. But 78% of people are very comfortable with drive-throughs or restaurant curbside pickup. An equally large portion are very comfortable getting food delivered. So again, just speaking to the fact that these digital experience capabilities continue to be really, really important. And takeout's everything right now for a lot of restaurants. And restaurants, while we definitely are seeing a negative impact, we're in a little bit of a better position than some other hospitality segments. Certainly, businesses where their prime business is not food and beverage, but it's an on-site offering, are not able to react to the same level that the restaurant and to a certain extent hotel industry is able to. So looking at those numbers, we're going to get into the specific capabilities. I'm going to turn it over to Patrick. Patrick, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Pen. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on your time zone. So what we're going to be talking about today is getting into the different facets of this, starting with ordering and payments. These are the core experience of the hospitality industry. Many establishments already have basic online capabilities, but there's a lot of room to grow in ordering experience. The payment landscape was changing rapidly even before COVID-19 and is escalating now. Guest preferences have been shifting towards new payments and payment methods such as mobile or NFC for some time. With online ordering being a significant source of revenue, online payments is an obvious model. Some guests, however, will still need to pay at the point of pickup. And in those cases, having the capability to accept payment in the most secure and sanitary fashion will be required. Tap and pay mobile devices and support for NFC payments are quickly becoming mandatory as the older swipe and sign payment processes are not well suited to off-premise service. We're going to talk about several options today. Online mobile app ordering and payment, virtual kiosk and near-premise ordering, as well as on-premise contactless ordering and payment. As well, it's important to think through how these core technologies integrate with other capabilities, such as gift cards. A system capable of using digital and physical gift cards, both on-premise and online, ensures a consistent and positive customer experience. Ordering is a critical part of the process, and many guests today are very comfortable with a variety of methods, whether it's online, an app, third party, or via the phone. Customers want to be able to order food regardless of location and with little delay. Omnichannel ordering capabilities have quickly become a must-have for off-premise service. For the restaurant, that convenience can come with ups and downs. We've seen customers succeed using a variety of approaches. A simple online ordering page on your property's website can be a straightforward and convenient option. With this, a few things that are important to consider. First, how does the online menu get populated and updated? Ideally, this is automated so the changes in your POS are reflected online without any extra intervention. What is the order workflow? It should go into your POS, to the kitchen, and into the packaging as smoothly as possible. How can guests pay? Online payment removes some friction and reduces contacts when doing takeout and delivery orders. How are modifiers, add-ons, zero-cost items handled?
Ensuring that guests can include cutlery, condiments, napkins, and other essentials while easily ordering add-ons or modified items, it's an important component of online ordering. The good news is this technology is available today. At Squirrel Systems, we've recently helped approximately 30% of our customer base implement online ordering in recent months. Luckily, it does not have to be complicated. The downside of online ordering is that it doesn't support foot traffic or impulse orders. In several cases, we've seen customers address this with virtual kiosks, which allow for quick in-person purchases without the need to touch a physical kiosk or menu. By putting a poster with a QR code in a window, on a sandwich board, or even on a website, restaurants can allow guests to view the menu, order, and pay all on their own mobile device. Some solutions are entirely browser-based, which means they don't require downloading an app and are integrated with the point of sale, so order flow into the restaurant as if it has been entered at a terminal within the dining room. Similar to online ordering processes discussed on the last slide, these solutions can be configured so that they pull the menu from the point of sale and accommodate the same menu items, add-ons, and modifiers that the online solution provides. An example of this is we've got a large fine dining establishment that we've been working with for many years, and they're really looking into the contactless piece. How can their customers come in and be seated, view the menu on their phone, place their order on their phone, and then pay on their phone? This would have been considered off-brand and not even considered pre-COVID. Dining rooms all over North America have begun to reopen in various stages. However, that doesn't mean that business is returning to pre-COVID norms. Here are a few things that we all need to consider. Menus. Shared menus that are not easily sanitized won't be acceptable. Consider one-use menus or menus that are easily and visibly cleaned. Shared devices and terminals. Staff are a particular risk for many businesses, and it will make sense to shift away from shared or fixed terminals to mobile devices that can be assigned to one server for a shift and then sanitized afterwards. This will also better support widely spaced dining areas and outdoor patios. Guest self-service. Similar to a virtual kiosk, a solution that allows a guest to order from their own mobile device and potentially pay can reduce the contact points throughout the service. Tap and NFC. For many regions, supporting contactless payment is going to be a requirement for opening a dining area. Managing a host of online order entry points can create new challenges we call swivel chair or re-entering orders for multiple iPads and other sources. It's slow, chaotic, and prone to error. It causes scheduling issues and introduces errors. All of this can cost you money. These more complex scenarios are handled with Omnichannel POS integration. Online ordering, third-party services, self-service kiosk, and mobile app orders can all be funneled into the Squirrel POS, then managed appropriately. Payments can also be streamlined so that channels processed through the payment processor are set up in Squirrel. Integrations like this can reduce errors by not rekeying orders from third-party services and help reduce costly mistakes while also expanding the capabilities of your organization. Ordering and payments are 2/3 of the overall experience. The final part is how do guests get their food. In the short term, most Squirrel sites have moved to a strictly takeout and delivery model, so we'll be focused on discussing those, although as the industry starts to reopen, we know many of our customers will also continue to offer takeout and delivery options, where in the past they provided full service table service. Before we get into the specifics for each capability, we want to talk a little bit about third-party delivery services. Many restaurants have had to rely on these platforms to keep revenue flowing, but they are not an ideal solution as the costs are very high in an industry already managing thin margins and vastly reduced revenue. If your concept is just starting out with takeout delivery, these aggregators are an easy way to build up capability very quickly. It's easy to set up with a third-party solution and requires very little upfront investment. Third-party ordering and delivery services offer a fast, convenient way for establishments to get delivery and off-premise service up and running. But the costs, both operationally and financially, can become quite high. Guests tend to build the relationship with the aggregator, not your establishment, which reduces customer loyalty and prevents you from building strong lines of communication. This is very similar to the challenge the travel industry faced when the third-party booking sites such as Expedia and Travelocity, when they entered the market. In that case, it was loyalty programs that helped swing the needle back to the hospitality providers. Also, the fee structure for third-party delivery can be punishing. When 15 to 30% of an order's value is paid to the aggregator, how does the restaurant make money? Lastly, there are very real operational impacts. Maintaining 3 or 4 iPads and re-entering orders as they arrive will inevitably create errors, which then impact guest satisfaction and cost more money. A few thoughts to get you started. Keep your menu short for the items that you can offer for takeout. You are already short on staff, so it will be essential to keep the most takeout-friendly and cost-effective options. Pick takeout-friendly food that maintains good food quality, keeps the menu short and simple if you decide to offer online ordering. Reassign workers to takeout and delivery focus. Food inventory and purchasing orders for raw food and pre-made food inventory all change. When you have a flood of orders, it can be confusing to keep track of all the completed orders or those in progress. Set up your printers to automatically print labels that have customer details like name and address, order content, cutlery and condiments, and a list of contacts for the delivery bag. A few things that can help with this is use label printers that print pre-stick labels or sticky receipt paper that can be attached to the bag with the order. These labels help seal the bag and avoid the use of staples around food. An example of this is we've got a large multi-unit customer that packing was a large area of impact. Essentially, knowing the contents because of the sticky label allowed them to be more accurate and know that the bag was sealed and that the order had been reviewed prior to pickup. And this makes it the equivalent of a server checking the order prior to it being run to the table. So we talked a bit about the third-party aggregators at the beginning, but it's worth noting that delivery is probably going to continue as an important service model for many restaurants. Some Squirrel customers have decided to implement first-party delivery with their own drivers, utilizing the Squirrel CRM module. This is a good way to offset the cost and drawbacks of third-party service, but doesn't make sense for everyone. Still, there are a couple of solutions to managing delivery better. Look at integrating a solution that supports delivery rails. This allows your business to keep the ordering process in-house via your website, mobile app, or virtual kiosk, and use the third-party service simply for delivery of the order. This has a couple of benefits. It keeps the customer relationship with your business instead of with the third party, and in most cases, the commission fee on just delivery is much lower than if the whole transaction occurred off-site. As we highlighted when we talked about ordering, putting in omnichannel order management capabilities allows orders from third-party services to flow into your POS and through the kitchen like any other order. This doesn't reduce the financial cost of the service, but does greatly reduce the workload and potential errors that can occur, particularly if you engage in several different third-party delivery aggregators. Now, loyalty is often something that restaurants start to think about as they grow and mature. Some don't consider it at all. It doesn't fit with their brand, or they don't feel that developing the expertise in this area is important to their endeavors. However, that is really beginning to change. When the shelter-in-place orders came into effect, many establishments began to realize that without foot traffic and the regular dining room experience, they had no way to communicate with their regular guests. In the event that a business pivoted to takeout or counter service type operations, how would a customer know this? Additionally, a loyalty program could help offer incentives to guests to take the additional steps required to do takeout, as opposed to thinking of a delivery service first. Loyalty programs have become a crucial part of the mix for any food and beverage business going forward. One of the challenges with a loyalty program is simply where to start. If you have already got an email list of customers, you've got the beginnings. Don't be deterred by the thought that you have to have a custom mobile app and integrate rewards program. A very simple loyalty program consists of a customer database. This is the fundamental component of any loyalty initiative. Knowing the basics about a customer name, phone, email, and perhaps key dates such as birthdays and anniversaries is all that's required to get started. Of course, it can expand to include things like preferred items, address, occupation, but those aren't necessary to begin. What you need to get started is a way to engage and acquire new customers. The simplest way to do this is to exploit tools you probably already have, such as your existing website. An incentive for guests to engage directly with you, the most common practice is a simple point system. Perhaps 10 loyalty points are redeemable for $1. A customer earns 50 points for signing up and an additional point for every dollar spent. Then they can redeem these points on future dining experiences with you and your team.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So as you can see, all of these solutions dovetail together to work as one integrated experience. And as somebody who's spent a lot of my career in the product and marketing side, loyalty is one that sometimes gets overlooked and is really important. So now we're going to take a look at an example of an organization that recently implemented some of these solutions, and we think did a really exceptional job at it. It's a restaurant chain called O'Charlie's. It's a casual dining chain based in the United States, out of Nashville, Tennessee, primarily offering service in the southern and southeastern states. And they've got about 189, 190 locations across those states. And what I wanted to walk through was just how O'Charlie's has really brought all of these components together into a smooth and integrated experience. So here we're looking at the O'Charlie's homepage. One of the first things I want to note is that, you know, when you order now, you don't have to decide, am I doing delivery, in which case I have to go through this process, or am I doing curbside, in which case I have to go through this process. It's very clear that the call to action is simply to order now. And we'll look at that in a second. But I also wanted to show down at the lower half of their homepage, O'Charlie's has a loyalty program called the O Club. And, you know, it's very simple to sign up. It requires just an email, first name, last name to become a member. And they're providing a really decent incentive for people to sign up. You get a free appetizer when you sign up. You get a surprise on your birthday, and you're recipient of exclusive offers that aren't available if you're not a member of the club. Also want to note that what they've done is create a mobile app as well that's available on the Apple App Store as well as Google Play for mobile devices. We don't drill down into the mobile app in this session, but one of the things that's interesting to me is that the experience on the mobile app is almost identical to the experience engaging with them via their website. So there's a real capability there to message people on the device that most of us have in our pocket all of the time about promotions or about rewards for that membership in the loyalty program. And as well as it allows guests to easily order if they're out and about, you know, if they're running the kids home from school, or if they're, doing something where they're not sitting in a web browser. It's very easy for them to engage with the business. Speaking again of loyalty and gift, one of the reasons we consider it so important is, again, going back to that third-party aggregator discussion, where, you know, if a lot of your business is currently being run through DoorDash, or in Canada, Skip the Dishes, or Uber Eats, or one of the services like that, that loss of the relationship with the guest can have really long-term effects. If they build the relationship with that aggregator, then when they want to engage with your business and they don't feel like leaving the house, or they're not able to leave the house, they may, you know, their first port of call is going to be with that aggregator. And we want the first port of call to be with you, with the restaurant. So developing the capability to have virtual gift cards that can act as a payment model across all of these channels is really, really important. It's really important that that's integrated with the ordering and payment process. So when you go to order now, the first thing O'Charlie's asks is, where are you? Primarily because they do have quite a large number of locations. You know, many of our customers are not this large, and it may not be the first step in the order process, but for O'Charlie's it is. So we're in Nashville, Tennessee for this process. So we've chosen the restaurant, and then we go directly into the menu. The menu is very clean and clear. I don't, you know, this is a fairly broad audience today on this call, so many of us have not actually physically been in O'Charlie's, but I have been able to validate that the menu experience in person in the dining room is very, very similar to this, in that the branding is all the same, the imagery is all the same, the language and descriptions is the same. And so there's that blurring again of the experience between what a guest would normally have in the dining room and what they might have on their mobile device or in a web browser. So it being lunchtime, I've chosen to purchase a cheeseburger. and I've added it to my bag. And when I do that, I'm given the same modifiers and choices that I have as if a server was standing right beside me at a table. I can choose to the temperature of my burger, so I can have it medium well or medium. I can remove or add toppings, and I can also, at any point in time, change the sides that come with it. It's a lunch combo, so I'm getting French fries and a Coke, but for additional cost, I could have chosen to get yam fries or onion rings, or additional drink options. So now that I've done all that, I go to checkout, and one of the things that they've done is, much like a server is trained to do, is an upsell. So, I'm checking out, and hey, would you like some spicy jack cheese wedges with that, or a top shelf combo appetizer, or perhaps some dessert? In this case, being lunch, and having been working from home for a while, I'm watching my waistline, so I'm going to decline the desserts. But the other interesting thing here is the Folded Flag Foundation. So this is an opportunity they've taken to help promote a charity that they feel is important. This is just something that I find interesting, because I think restaurants are a place where traditionally communities have gathered, and so it's interesting to me that they've included this as a way to give back to the community. So I say no thanks, and I end up in the checkout. So one of the things that I think is interesting here, and we talked about, Patrick covered it when we were talking about fulfillment, takeout, delivery, but there's two things of note here. One is I'm choosing a curbside pickup, but were I to choose delivery, the order flow is exactly the same, right? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you have to do first-party in-house delivery. There are many, many options whereby you can work with a third-party aggregator simply as the delivery tool, and that has the benefit of reducing the costs, the commissions that they take off the order, and also has the benefit, again, of keeping the customer or the guest engaged with your business and with your establishment. I think another thing that's interesting to note here is the make, model, color. So because I've chosen curbside pickup, they've given me the opportunity to provide the details around the vehicle I'm going to be in. And, it seems like a small thing, but this has benefits on both sides. Your staff and your servers who are fulfilling this curbside order don't need to worry about, oh, how do I find this customer? And the customer doesn't need to worry about, oh, do I have to go into the lobby, or do I have to stand beside my car? It again is just removing some of the friction to make the ordering and fulfillment experience as clean and painless as possible. Lastly, on this screen, the one thing to note is as well the pickup time. So, for a lunch order, somebody might order at 10 in the morning and say, I'm going to pick it up at 12:15. Having that flexibility to schedule orders and to hold orders is really, really important. And if it's overlooked, it can be something that's quite difficult to add in later. So, I mean, it can absolutely be done, but again, thinking through that order flow and thinking how your guests might want to engage and work through their order, is really important. So now I'm down to payment. We're all used to paying online with our credit card. But on this screen, the thing that I wanted to call out was, again, going back to that idea that we really want our customers to own the guest relationship. We really want our customers to be able to be as flexible as possible with their guests. So having the ability to use a gift card either in the mobile app or in the online payment process is really key. It makes for such a good experience, because what it also means is that I can buy a gift card on O'Charlie's site, have it delivered digitally to someone in my family or someone in my organization, and they can then engage with O'Charlie's directly via the site using that gift card to purchase an order, all without anything having to change hands or any physical manifestation of that gift card having to exist, which is really, again, harkening back to that idea of having an inclusive and comprehensive digital guest experience. So I hope that was useful. Just to recap the components that we at Squirrel have seen our customers move towards and succeed with on Squirrel 11 is loyalty and gift. They're often overlooked. We really think that they have a important role to play, particularly with the uncertainty over the next 6 to 12 months in terms of the industry's reopening. Delivery and omnichannel. So we talked about omnichannel a fair bit. To give you an example of a vendor we work with in that space, we work with Chowley, and having the ability to centralize and manage all of those third-party delivery orders, while it doesn't reduce the cost of engaging with those aggregators, it really allows you to expand the scope of that offering. So if you're currently, for instance, only working with DoorDash, and you're thinking, maybe you want to bring on another aggregator or two to increase your scope and reach, but there's, operational challenges. Working with an omnichannel vendor and your POS vendor can really help to alleviate that. Ordering payment is just so crucial, obviously, to the entire experience, particularly when you're removed from the dining room and you don't have that face-to-face engagement with a server. So really focusing, on the online ordering and the capabilities and the frictionless process. And then when we are in the dining room, as they reopen, remembering that we need to allow people to engage with the business in a way that is comfortable for them in the current environment. And that really, at the barest minimum, means contactless payment. So having, chip and tap payment, or having NFC payment. So NFC being near field communications, that's the technology that allows people to pay using Apple Pay or the Google Pay wallet. And then finally, takeout. Takeout's probably going to be a core pillar of our revenue business for quite some time. Even for businesses, Patrick was talking about one of our fine dining customers who's looking at contactless QR code payments and ordering. They've also been looking at how do they implement takeout without compromising their brand offering, without compromising the quality of their food. But because takeout was growing quite quickly in the industry even prior to the COVID crisis, and we see that trend continuing, and obviously it's been accelerated because of the restrictions around the health pandemic. So that's the bulk of our presentation today. We're going to go into some questions, and I'm going to ask Damien if he can help me answer some of these. So one of the first questions we have today is, we use eigen, we use X9 from eigen for online ordering. Will you continue to do that and expand its capacity to do what we're seeing from O'Charley's web online ordering, or is Squirrel pursuing that capacity itself?
No, eigen is one of our preferred partners. We're both located here in Vancouver. We've got a long tenured relationship with the team there. So yeah, I would say we're going to continue to leverage their technology and make sure that we're marrying both together to get the best out of it for everyone. So yeah, they're doing some really exciting stuff there. They're quick, they're nimble, their product is solid, which is one of the reasons why we love recommending and dealing with them. So yeah, that partnership will be continuing.
Thanks, Damien. And I think that does speak to the the fact that this is when we assess these capabilities and solutions, it's really kind of important to think through what the end goal might be, and our team here at Squirrel can certainly, if you reach out, we can help you plot that path forward. One of the next questions, and I think I answered this one. The question was, what is NFC? NFC is near field communications, and it's the technology that phones used to allow people to pay via Apple Pay or Google Wallet. So when we talk about NFC, we're talking about the capability to take mobile devices and treat them as a tap and pay device. Okay, and now we've got another question here. Damien, if you could take this one. So for a hospitality business that isn't just a restaurant, we have a boutique hotel. Do you recommend the same strategy and approach?
Yeah, I mean, all F&B businesses, I think, need to have these capabilities. I guess geographical location would depend on that, but if what we found with some of our customers here, especially in Vancouver, they are boutique hotels, and they're typically in an area where you have a lot of tourists. So obviously the tourist trade is down a lot right now, but they have kind of galvanized the local community, and they've got kitchens and bars and things that are there that they're utilizing to kind of get out, and they're doing the same approach that restaurants in the burbs are doing. They're advertising online, they're getting contactless payment, they're going along these lines, and they're generating revenue. So the answer, I would say, is yes. If you have an F&B business in your hotel, you should be utilizing these, or looking to utilize it as much as possible.
Awesome, thank you. Next question, quite a few have rolled in the last couple of seconds. What gift card companies do we work with primarily in Canada is the question.
There's a list. We probably want to post up who we have there, just to give you some. Let's see here. Gift cards, so GiveX, Data Candy, Patronics. There's a number of them. If you can reach out to your sales rep, we can tailor and have a look and see what specific ones would probably meet your needs there. But
yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the things we're also seeing is a little bit of blurring of lines in vendors. Some vendors who are traditionally perhaps only doing payment processing or online ordering are starting to offer different capabilities as well. So yeah, if you reach out to us, we'd be happy to take a look at your scenario. Next question, does Squirrel help clients with web integration of virtual gift card purchase and delivery?
So in that regard, that would be along the lines of like eigen, for example. They would work with a client to completely build out whatever it is you were looking to achieve there, whether it's the menu online, the gift card integration, all of that. So we work in tandem. There are some configuration pieces that Squirrel would do in order to turn those on and enable those. But like I said, the beauty of that type partnership is that we're able to coordinate that. We've done, as Penn said, there are 30% of our customer base up onto these, getting their menus online and getting them up and running. So there's a lot of knowledge there, and with the team, and the process is really smooth. So yes is the answer.
Awesome, thank you. Next one is, can you give us some idea of the cost associated with perhaps implementing something like an online ordering system?
So they're currently, if you go to the Squirrel Systems website right now and you look at our COVID solution, there's a number of solutions right now where setup fees have been waived. We're very much doing what we can to try and make sure our industry here has the tools it needs in order to survive this difficult time. So I would encourage you to go to the squirrelsystems.com website and look at the offers we have there. So we've delayed payments on a number of options too for 90 days. They're mostly SaaS-based models, but we're doing everything we can to try and alleviate the upfront barrier that's typically there for getting customers what they need. So like I say, there's a number of options there, and the pricing is laid out there.
Perfect, thank you. Related to that, a question around Omnichannel. The question is eigen the preferred Omnichannel vendor? And I'll add on to that, or do you have any other suggestions of omnichannel vendors to look at?
We've got kind of different tiered partnerships with our partners, you know, and eigen is a preferred partner. So, you know, we're really, it's up to the customer. We will bring these options to you and then, you know, work with you so that you can make an informed decision on who it is based on, you know, costs and whatever else that you would need to factor in order to move forward. So again, I would press you to go to the Squirrel Systems website, where we have all of the up-to-date information there on these offers and partnerships available there. It's the most up-to-date reference point there.
Yeah, correct. And there's a related question here, Damien, that I'll just, I think I can answer, which is there any time frame associated with skip the dishes integration for Chowly? I don't believe we have any insight into that, but I will check with our product team, and we'll send a note to you if we actually do have any visibility into that integration. Okay, we're at 11:42. One more question, and then any we didn't get to, again, I will make sure that we get out via email. The question is, we currently use Squirrel version 9. Is it a requirement for us to upgrade the software to Squirrel 11 to utilize these features? Can we speak to that? Damien, if you take that one.
Yeah, so it depends. It depends on which one you're wanting to use. So some of them are compatible with version 9, but I could say the vast majority would be on older versions. And we can work with you to come up with creative solutions and creative ways to get you upgraded so that you can take advantage of these features. That's currently a focus of our team right now, our marketing team working with the sales team, is to kind of identify as many customers as possible that we have on older versions that are not able to take advantage of these, and then engage with them and work directly with them on, like I said, being creative. These are unprecedented times, so we're kind of, everything's being thought out of the box. So now is the time to have that conversation with your sales rep. Now is the time to strike up those conversations so that we can start working together to get this implemented for you as quickly as possible, especially if you're on an older version.
Yeah, and just to echo that, having worked with both marketing and sales on this, definitely reach out to your sales rep. We are currently looking at as many creative solutions as we can to get those customers who need these capabilities up and running on, and ideally onto Squirrel 11, because it is a great product and we're very proud of it. But you know, like Damien said, unprecedented times, and we recognize that you know, revenues are challenging. So reach out to your sales rep, and we can absolutely have a discussion about what makes sense for your business. So we are at 11:45, right on the money. Really just want to thank everyone for coming. Hopefully you got some value in this. Again, if you want to share it with any of your colleagues, it will be posted to the squirrelsystems.com website tomorrow. It'll also be available on our LinkedIn profile and on our Twitter account. And if you think of any questions that you didn't get in at the end here, please send them out to your sales rep or to info@squirrelsystems.com. We'd be happy to have a deeper discussion. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Thanks again for coming, and we'll keep you notified of the next webinar that will be coming up over the next couple months. Thanks very much.
Thank you.